Hey everyone, what is going on? So I have another video for you today in the Open Ultra League. Now these are battles that I did on stream, which is why the quality is not as good as it usually is. But that's totally fine. So it's interesting. I was actually running a different team, and then I went up against the Asian Milkman, and he did beat me, and he was using this team, and I actually really liked it, so I decided to go ahead and try it out, and it did really well for me. So I'm happy I did go ahead and give it a try. But yeah, Kabalian, Jellicent, and Pidgeot. Now this is an expensive team, right? You're looking at XL Jellicent, XL Pidgeot, a perfect Pidgeot, best buddied. Kabalian's a legendary. So it is expensive, but it's a really strong team. And yeah, let's go ahead and dive right into it without further ado, shall we? So I'm going to bring in the Pidgeot to fight this Giratina. Unfortunately, my opponent does have Ancient Power, which makes sense. So I'm going to farm up a lot of energy. Throw the Brave, but now unfortunately this doesn't KO, so I guess what I should have done was taken an Ancient Power and then threw it, so I wouldn't have to shield this one, because now this one will KO me. I could have played it that way, but that's okay. I'm going to be able to take out that Giratina, and Tentacruel is going to come in. Now unfortunately I don't click on my moves, so my opponent does get off the Scald. Should have clicked on the Brave Bird right away. Now this is going to KO the Pidgeot. But the good thing about this is that Jellicent is resisting all of the attacks, right? So, yeah, I don't have to worry about the attacks when it comes to Jellicent. I am watching out for a catch. My opponent actually attempts to catch on a Dog type. So they attempt to catch the Shadow Ball, which is a good attempt. Fortunately for me, my opponent does not catch it. And it's going to be a Guzzlord. I'm going to bring out my Cabalian. I knew Guzzlord's attacks were all resisted. So just going to go ahead and take that one and go for the Sacred Sword. My opponent is going to go ahead and shield it. I'm going to be able to get off another one. Super effective damage. You'll love to see it. So, yeah, basically what I want to do is put it in Shadow Ball range. I know Shadow Ball is resisted, but still at this point in time, Shadow Ball will be enough to KO. And I'm going to go ahead and shield this one because it's a CMP tie. I was going to go ahead and throw the Shadow Ball. And yeah, I mean, I'd rather shield that than anything that Jellicent has to offer, right? Because I do resist all of Jellicent's attacks, so don't really have to worry about the game anymore. Jellicent will go for the possible debuff, but even if they are successful and get the debuff, it does not matter at all. So I'm going to throw the Shadow Ball right now. Safely throw the Shadow Ball, and yeah, another Shadow Ball afterwards will be enough to KO, but my opponent actually concedes. A Surf probably would have KO'd after that Hex damage. But either way, good game. Well played to my opponent. Going to be able to take that one. So let's go ahead and move into the next battle. So Kabalian into Obstagoon. So this is a good matchup. I like this matchup. We are weak to counter, but they're double weak to it. Out comes Charizard. I'm going to go ahead and bring in Jellicent right now. So my opponent will be able to get off an attack. I'm going to go ahead and let it go. Blast Burn still does a good amount. I mean, that's a decent chunk, right? But I can go ahead and safely throw the Surf attack right now. And my opponent will let that one go. I can go ahead and throw another one. This is going to be enough to KO, unless my opponent wants to shield it. And to my surprise, my opponent actually does shield it. I did not expect him to shield it, to be honest. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. So now my opponent can actually flip switch if they choose to. And I knew this was going to be the case, but they do go down to shield. So I decided to let it happen, and I'm going to bring in Pidgeot. So what I'm going to do is shield this and farm down with my Pidgeot. It's going to be a Blast Burn, makes sense. Yep, going to be able to farm down. So I am expecting the Obstagoon, and Obstagoon does come in. I'm going to be able to throw the Brave Bird and then switch out into my Cabalian. Hoping I didn't make a mistake by giving up Switch against that Charizard. So what's in the back? It's going to be a Jellicent, a beautiful shiny one. Huge shout out to my opponent for that. Now, generally speaking, Cabalian obviously does not like Ghost types, right? Because the Double Kick is going to be double resisted. But Stone Edge is still doing a pretty good amount of damage to that Jellicent. I need 2 more to KO it. I'm going to be able to get off another one. You love to see it. And then just 1 more after this will be enough to pick up the knockout. I'm trying to get to it. I still have a shield, which is really good. I'm going to go ahead and let this go. Shadow Ball will not be enough to KO me. And I do barely make it before my opponent can farm me down with Hex. Man, love that shiny. I really want to get one so bad. So now I can bring in Pidgeot, and yeah, I just need a Brave Bird. I still have a shield, plus I can take it like a couple Night Slashes anyway, right? Good game. Moving on, Kabalian into Alolan Sand Slash, the Dream Lead. My opponent is switching out into Scrafty. I'm going to go ahead and bring out my Pidgeot right now. I think I let this one go. Yeah, I do let it go. I was counting it was just a power-up punch. So what I'm going to do is overfarm and throw the Brave Bird. I believe I threw one TMP. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it. My opponent shields. You know, a lot of times they don't shield. We're both locked in. I was not expecting the shield. When it comes to the Sand Slash, I know my opponent can't farm me down because it's Shadow Claw and I double resist it. So I'm going to be able to make it to a Brave Bird. It is resisted, but I'll take that damage. This Ice Punch will definitely KO me. I'm quadruple debuffed, but I'm totally fine with being KO'd. So I can bring in my shiny Cabalian. Great matchup, obviously, and now my opponent brings in Deoxys, and I bring in Jellicent. I just hard counted my opponent. There was nothing they could do, right? That was just a hard counter game. Good game. Let's go ahead and move into the next one. Kabalian into Wolverine. Okay, good matchup here. Out comes Kabalian, so I'm going to go ahead and switch into Jellicent right now. Good matchup for me because I do double resist those double kicks as well as Sacred Sword, but obviously I don't expect the Sacred Sword. The Stone Edge attacks are going to be coming out. So I'm going to be able to get off a Shadow Ball right now. I'm not expecting any shield from my opponent, but my opponent actually does shield, which is fine. So I let this one go, I believe. I know it does. I mean, it doesn't KO me. They need another one. So I do go ahead and let that one go, and I'm going to go ahead and go for the Shadow Ball right now. See if my opponent wants to shield that. And they actually do it. So the double shield from my opponent. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Shadow Ball right now. Now, I could flip this if I want to, but I think I take the 2 shield advantage. No, my opponent actually switches into Gliscor. That's right. My opponent switches into Gliscor, and I'm able to get off the Surf attack. Super effective damage. You'll love to see it. So I do get off the Surf, and I switch into Pidgeot right now. My opponent is going to be able to go for an attack, but I know it can't be Earthquake because I resist that. So it has to be the Night Slash. And I'm just going to go ahead and take another Night Slash. So that's fine. I'm going to be able to get off the Brave Bird, which will be enough to KO. Could I have overfarmed? Maybe. I wasn't sure what energy my opponent was at with the Gliscor. The only thing is the Wolverine can come in and probably go for that aggressive farm down. They're going to be able to get the... I should have thrown a Brave... So another mistake. I should have thrown the Brave Bird here, but to be honest, I really didn't think I was going to make it to any move. That's why I went ahead and just threw. So I am debuffed. Not debuffed. They're debuffed. So I didn't expect my opponent to shield just because my opponent was debuffed. But my opponent actually does go ahead and shield it. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that attack. And I'm going to throw another one. It's going to KO the Wolverine. Yeah, this game was just looking really good for me throughout pretty much the whole time when we got both shields. So my opponent is going to be able to throw an attack. Just going to let this one go. I survive it. Plus, I still have a shield. My opponent is going to be able to get off another one. I can safely shield this and just double kick all the way down. And there's no way my opponent has another attack. And that is going to be a good game. Very well played to my opponent. But I'm going to be able to take that win. Alright, let's go ahead and move into the next battle. I have a Kabalian into a Scrafty. So this is an interesting matchup. I do win in the Zero Shield because I get to 2 Sacred Swords. But my opponent can invest 1 shield and just like count it and power up punch me, which is how it plays out. So yeah, my opponent's gonna go ahead and throw a power punch. I'm not gonna shield this. I don't want to shield a power up punch for sure, right? So I definitely don't shield that, and I do get to another one again. This will be enough to KO unless my opponent shields. My opponent is gonna go ahead and shield it, and my opponent does shield it. And my opponent throws the power punch. Even if I shielded this, which I'm not going to, but even if I did, I don't think I'm pretty sure I don't make it to another Sacred Sword. So, like, yeah, Scrafty's going to be able to take that one, but I could bring in Pidgeot and farm down. Now, unfortunately, my opponent does get to an attack, and I do not want to take a foul play, so I'm going to go ahead and invest that shield. So out comes Pidgeot, going to go ahead and throw this Brave Bird attack into it. Massive damage if it goes unshielded, and it does go unshielded. Now I can bring in my Jellicent. Now the good thing about Jellicent is it gets to Hex fast. It does more damage, obviously, than the original Bubble Beam. Feather Dance, that's fine. Okay, because of that Feather Dance, I don't think 1 Surf KOs. But I can go ahead and throw this Surf and then maybe go for the farm down, even though it's Hex. Oh, maybe not. No, oh no, I guess I just throw 2 Surfs anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw this Surf. This will KO, but my opponent actually shields it. I think I shield this, and I think it's a Feather Dance. So I do shield it. And no, it's actually a Brave Bird. Never mind. Okay. Well, that's good for me. Out comes Alolan Muck. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Surf. Now, I know I'm debuffed, but I can't switch out yet, so I wanted to stall the switch timer. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in that Pidgeot. So my opponent's going to go ahead and throw an attack. Will a Dark Pulse be enough to KO me? I'm hoping that it is not enough, and it is not enough. I do get to that Brave Bird in time. So this Brave Bird is still not going to be enough to KO, but it will get it low. So I really want to farm down with Hex. Can I do it? No. My opponent gets to an attack, hoping that it's not a Dark Pulse. Unfortunately, it is. And my opponent's going to be able to win that one. So good game. Well played. Not going to be able to take that one, but that is okay. And that is going to be a beautiful 4-1. We're going to pick up a Scraggy. I'm in the 2500s, just chilling, mid-2500s. Let me know how you're doing in this season of GBL. And thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.